So, I've had requests like, hey, you got an anime on your PFP, how about you make an anime game related video? Or hey, you've been talking about anime on YouTube now, what about an anime game related video? Well, I've been working on that. This could have came a lot sooner, but anime games are so long. Long main story, gameplay to get through, but most importantly, the thing I got really invested on is the side missions.
Then it's just the two of us. Really? Then would you like a thorough examination?
Okay, maybe it shouldn't have taken this long. Ayo guys, I finally did it. I finally beat Persona 5, yes! Let me see a couple of W's in the comments because it was quite a feat for me to finally beat this game. I originally got Persona 5 back when Joker made it onto Smash, but for some reason I never finished it back then. Probably because I got too busy playing Smash or maybe other games, you know, life be happening. Nothing was wrong with the game. My first initial playthrough of it, I thought it was really good. I just stopped playing it for some stupid reason or no reason at all. But then I made this video talking about the gaming regrets I had and I could not continue living with this guilt. Also, I saw a certain podcast where they talk about their love towards the game and it got me thinking like, hey, I love anime. Why did I never get to finish this back in the day? And I got in the mood to play it again. So I had the option of jumping back in and continuing my playthrough from Persona 5, but I got Persona 5 Royal instead and started from the beginning because I wanted to get that new content. And because why not make this longer than it already should be, am I right? But more on that Royal content later. And let me tell you, getting this thing started from the beginning, it shows how polished this game is. The art style, the presentation, oh my god, the music, it's all just top class. Seriously, I love this whole aesthetic for this game. Maybe except the little corner hub, you know, the little date that's always on the left corner. Like, why is it always there? It's a little distracting. You can see all the care that they put in every little detail in this game. It's so artistically appealing. It's the devil in the detail, man. From the conversations to the cutscenes to the amazing animation design that brings this game to life. This game makes you feel like an anime protagonist. But too much water though. From getting into battles and to the victory screens, the great looking menu UI, and like even the running animation has a distinct animation when you're inside the palace and it reflects onto the map. Like, who thinks of putting that much detail? But the best part is when you turn into rats in the little part of the game and when you have to get away, you even get this cute animation. I love it. The gameplay might be where this game might lose you, but it's enough to keep you engaged, and it has a pretty deep system with its personas that you can capture, then mix and create even stronger personas, plus a large cast of characters you can switch in and out of your team depending on the situation. So the turn-based combat in this game has enough to keep it interesting. But if you've been interested in playing this game but you aren't the biggest RPG or turn-based fan, I'd say go ahead and still play because the turn-based is still good, but the main reason to play this game is for the story. The story in this game is great. It keeps you engaged for all 110 hours. Jesus Christ, that's a long time, but your miles might vary. It's a story about teenagers bringing justice to the world by overthrowing evil adults. But it's not always evil adults. It could be college students, high school students, basically changing assholes to not be assholes anymore. I can get behind it since you always hear about it in our everyday life of just shitty people that keep getting away with being shitty people and you just wish they would just change already. So in this game, you enter the evil douche in question. Alright, that sounded kind of weird. You enter his palace, which is just a manifestation of their corrupt thoughts, or to make it even more simple, you basically enter the physical but like also metaphorical evil ego and you tell him, bitch, sit down and be humble and atone for your evil sins. That's me trying to simplify this, but you get what I'm trying to say, right? Joker and his gang of thieves get famous from these acts of changing corrupt people, but when the plot really thickens to the real corrupt elites in our world and goes for a darker turn is when you get even more sucked into this plot. But I don't want to give any more further details about the plot because I think it's really worth experiencing on your own. But what really sets this game apart is the amount of content and things to do in this game. From exploring mementos, which is basically a giant palace of the population's collective conscience, or something like that, the everyday task of a high school student, getting your stats up with funny mundane tasks, and the one that you will really invest most of your time is deepening your bonds with your confidants. Because I really got lost in that. I got really obsessed with maxing out Joker's stats and maxing out some of my favorite confidants. And if I'm honest, one aspect that I was heavily invested on this run was romancing my hot goth doctor girlfriend. I did it for the perks. The perks are good, maybe not the best in the game, but they're really good. Plus, Takemi's side story was worth maxing her out, and obviously revealing my true feelings for her. Dear Lord, this says so much about me. And I also learned that through my playtime that you're allowed to romance multiple girls in this game, but this is a Persona 5, not royal, but a loyal playthrough for me. But if I were to play a second playthrough in this game, for sure I would have done Makoto, or I would have just been a big hoe and romanced everybody. Except Futaba, that's my little sister, bro. Nah, I can't do that. No. Maybe. Takumi is just the best, alright? And I'm glad that I got royal because she has a new voice actor. No offense to the OG, but this new one just captures her character a lot better, and especially when she calls me her guinea pig.
And in exchange, you'll be my guinea pig.
Oh, and bro, look at her design. And she's a doctor. She got her career on set. How could I not wife her up, man? I'm just saying, I had to wife her up. I ain't gonna lie, though, Makoto was a close second, though. Her story plays off as a cute roleplay of playing boyfriend and girlfriend that plays perfectly into playing into a real relationship. Plus, she's the upperclassman, so you know. Hot. And then the new girl in Royal, Kasumi Yoshizawa, just feels like a relationship waiting to happen. Am I right? Or is it just me? When Kasumi first meets Joker, their dynamic starts off very well and very wholesome. She's one of the first people to meet Joker and realize that he's actually a kind individual. And as the story continues, you realize that you meeting her is just fate, and sadly, I'll never know how it plays out. And this is how I transition over to the Royal exclusive content. They've added a lot of new features and plus some new characters, which are a nice additions. With a focus on mental health with Dr. Marquis, it's always great because you kids really need it. I think I needed it growing up because I'm a really fucked up young man now. And then we already spoke about Kasumi, who's the new cute girl and has a cool dynamic with Joker. And then we get the addition of Jose and Mementos, who helps you get more items and helps you boost your experience, which is very nice. And I'll be honest though, I tried out some of the things in the Thieves' Den, but I've only tried everything once but never really went back. So I can't add too many comments on the Thieves' Den, but there's a lot of added content if you're coming back to Persona 5 with Royal. But the real star in Persona 5 Royal is the added semester, and so how is it? I wouldn't know. But apparently it's tied behind Dr. Marquis' confidant, or it's also tied with Dr. Marquis and Kasumi's confidant. But I thought it was only supposed to be with Kasumi, so I maxed her out, but fuck was I wrong. Because once I beat the main story, I was waiting for the added content and it never came. Maybe it was my fault and I should have looked it up or researched before I started playing this game, but I thought that that additional content was something we all got to play in Royal. I mean, why would you sell a game as the new improved and superior version from the vanilla release and add content, and that added content is hidden behind a confidant? This can really confuse first time players when they hop into Persona 5 Royal. But I know this is probably my fault, but what the hell, man, I did not know. This game is long as fuck and there's no going back by the point I figured it out. So please, let this be a warning to anyone thinking about playing this game, is to max out those two confidants. I repeat, max out Dr. Marquis and Kasumi, or else you will miss the extra semester. All that extra time I could have spent with Takumi. Wasted. But besides that, that's probably my fault. Persona 5 is great. There is so much of it that I liked and so little that I disliked. It's obviously not a perfect game. A lot of games aren't perfect. I mean, there was points in this game where I felt I wasn't even playing a video game. It's such a story heavy and cutscene heavy game that sometimes you're just there with the controller in your hands just pressing X the whole time. But the story's really good, so I can't complain. There was also some points where the days felt wasted because it didn't give me some great options for confidants, and I was already maxed out on all my stats, so there wasn't really something to do during those days. And then the pacing at points felt a little slow, but most of this is probably because of a hardware limitation problem with the game. Because man, the amount of transitions and loading screens is probably a quarter of my playtime. I wish it could be a lot smoother with that, but maybe it's just a console not being able to render everything all at once. And I gotta put some spoiler warnings here because I'm gonna talk about the end game of the story because I have a little complaint. I'll be a little vague if you choose not to skip, but the spoilers start now. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I still had fun, but I did not like the fact that you have to end the game by defeating a god. Sure, there was probably some minimal foreshadowing with all the religious related personas, but I just like the whole aspect of just young adults coming of age defeating corrupt adults. As it's silly as it sounds, I find that more believable than some teenagers taking down a whole ass god. It looked cool though, I ain't gonna lie. But none of these complaints are anything too bad to affect my enjoyment of the game. You just gotta have some complaints in a review, am I right? I know it sounds weird to say that it didn't feel like a video game at some points, but I was still fully invested and engaged. So, do I recommend this game? Yes. If you love a story heavy game with character rich cast and love RPGs, get this game. If you love anime, get this game. And if you're interested in this game because it gets a lot of praise, give it a chance because it really is that great. And there you have it, my first video on an anime video game. What a crossover. And I gotta say, the first one, and I think this is the best anime video game there is, Persona 5. Unless you think there's other great options, recommend them in the comments below. And if you made it this far into the video, please don't forget to like it, it would help me out a lot. And don't forget to subscribe to see even more videos coming out soon. And I hope to catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching, I appreciate you. And bro, look at all the waifus in this game. You gotta play it.